alive. Team on with metaphor. I have an idea for what I want to get done today. Okay, I'm on the right floor. I actually need to head to the left. I was about to say I could have just fast traveled. I just forgot where I was in the game for a second. Yeah, so my goal though today is to beat the first dungeon and possibly get done the events surrounding the completion of the first dungeon. Right now though, usual little thing here, gotta go around, gotta refill my MP bar. To be honest, if I could give a recommendation for a way to, because item management is very important in these games, whether it be Persona, Shin Megami Tensei. Though with Shin Megami Tensei, it's not as important as the game goes on. Early on, it's important, but like when you start getting access to shops that sell SP items, it's a little less important. Especially if you're playing, say, Nocturne. In Nocturne, just prioritize Demi Fiend's strength stat and then just punch your way through everything. The Demi Fiend strength build is ridiculous. But in this game, better manage your items, in particular healing items. Go around, do what I'm doing, and then just use the priest archetype to heal. Oh, not the priest, the healer archetype. And the fact that every character can learn the archetype and you can switch it on the fly. There's no real... It's no different than just switching, to use Final Fantasy V as an example. Say you have a character working on a job that doesn't have a use for MP, like, say, Monk. Assign them White Magic as an ability, or just switch them to White Mage temporarily to heal up the party. I've done that a few times in the playthrough. When I remember the spell exists, most because I don't remember it's a level 1 spell, I'll switch a character to have access to raise. Same rules apply here. Using Persona, though, as an example, it's even more important to have item management, just because Persona... I also do need to correct something I said that I was wrong about with, when I was talking about Persona 4, especially with the revival coming out. I don't want to give out incorrect information. I thought that, because I was going off my memory, I thought that the Cup card also restored SP. I am wrong. I believe it is just HP. Yeah, let's see if that helped, whatever the issue there was. The only downside to doing this is the fact that you only recharge 1 MP per kill. And it takes fucking forever. But it's great because of the fact you're getting money, you're getting mag, you're getting archetype experience. Not a lot, like, don't get me wrong, it's not gonna be, you know, anything that's gonna help you dramatically. But as you can see, sometimes you can get some levels out of it. And it's the thing that makes these early dungeons really... It's what makes early dungeons in Metaphor so much more bearable than the early days in Tartarus in Persona. Or at least Persona 3. The Midnight Channel dungeons are... Well, they're a whole other beast compared to Tartarus. I've said before, and I've gone on record, I am not a fan of Tartarus as a dungeon. I'm a fan of it conceptually. But my issue with Tartarus is the fact that Tartarus evolves going from... Well, to clear Tartarus, you have to climb all the floors and everything like that. And the issue I have with it is the fact that, it's RNG what you get, and like more so than any other Persona game, I'd say. And the fact that it's so much you have to do times in a day if you're trying to do like the multiple hit goal in a day. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I want to kill these things because they're worth a lot of stuff. Well, in particular, a lot of mag and a lot of money. Damn it. You gotta be fucking shitting. Damn. I'm annoyed of all the enemies that actually give you trouble here. It's these fucking teeth.
敵はまだ持ってる。油断するなよ。どうする？それは。ヒーラー。マジシャン。キャッツ一気に攻める。先手だ。よし行くぞ。一気に行くぞ。受けろこの一投。王者の魂をここに。最後だ。
最後の一撃すごかった。この調子でいきましょう。
よし。はっ。せっ。よし。どうだ。一気に決まる。このまま仕留めるぞ。手加減はなしだ。
Deal with the small fry first.
マジシャン。燃えろ。
相手をよく見る。そこ。このまま押し切る。
最善を尽くす王者の力。この身に宿れ。違うんじゃないか。受けろこの一投。仕上げだ。なかなかマジシャン。
Sapphire.
状況を確認する。この守り崩せぬぞ。
ファイター。この力で。
Try Blizzard. Blizzard's the weakness.
英霊の力をやめておこう。ここは一つ。
正義のため。ファイター。思ったより耐える。
まずい。敵の攻撃が来るわ。
Oh, you bitch.
マジシャン。これ。
相手をよく見る。ライト。その程度か。
ファイター。やれやれ。食らいやがれ。本物の真マジシャン。氷よ。
状況を確定が我が剣。
さてどうするか。はあ。やるねストロール。王者の魂をここに。これ最後まで油断大
相手をよく見せ。そこだ。
受けろこの一投。
最後の一撃すごかった。この調子でいきましょう。悪くない感覚だ。
注意しろまだいるぜ。キャッツキャッツ。いいなよ。
弱点に効いてる。いけるよ。
こっちだよ。
Oh, I had a couple close calls there.
悪はただ。食らいやがれ。
You deal with the teeth.
行くぞ。氷よ。
弱点に命中。騎士の誓いと
Oh, you're weak to Pierce.
そこ。
受けろこの一投。もう少しだ。大丈夫この力で。炎よ最後だ。
相手をよく見る。先に行ってくれ。
I'm passing just so I have top of turn so I can use all my attacks.
マジシャン。これ。
With the nacho that you're weak to Pierce. Oh, and a crit. We're actually getting close to mastering a couple of these archetypes. And I'm gonna have to dip back to the first floor soon because I'm running out of MP. But what do you know? You got a rest point. Yeah, see, in terms of this project, there's gonna be a lot of episodes that are just either cutscenes or like stuff I'm doing. Well, there's gonna be entire episodes where it's just me doing random shit around town. I know your name. Hey, wait, no, you're the person who's been watching the FFD20 playthrough. Happy to see you here. Yeah, this is kind of like but you can't tell by my channel, this is kind of the main stuff I do. The D&D is a recent thing I'm trying, my friends. We've only done 2 campaigns on the channel. The Wrath of the Righteous one being our second, and has been a lot of fun, mostly because of my players for it have been fantastic. And I'm really excited with book 2 once we get access to the world. We've got some stuff we're working in. I'm working on backstory stuff with all the players. Though I say all the players. To be honest, Lich and Voss with Angel and Mysteria have been probably some of the most fun. Spirit Seer with Gloom has been a lot of fun just because of the fact that he can play off of everyone very well. And Eloise with PK, my god, he's got so much fucking lore. I mentioned it I think I mentioned it a few times in the streams, but he has sent me just pages of lore for his character. It's the equivalent of that bit from the Forever DM series where it's just read my lips. 10 pages of lore. It's essentially that. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus with the FFD20, but that's because one, we finished the first book. I've been working on getting the second book ready, and there was a debate among us whether we wanted to deal with mass combat rules. We talked about it for a bit. In particular, me, Dark Spirit, PK, and I talked about it with Lich. Boss did not seem to particularly care what decision we made about the mass combat. The reason why I talked about those 3 in particular is because I was actually at a concert this weekend with them for Distant Worlds, which is a Final Fantasy concert. So I was in person with them discussing this. We kind of settled on not using mass combat just because of the fact it's a whole other set of stat sheets and mechanics we have to deal with on top of it. we're still going to incorporate an element for it for like roleplay purposes, but not for combat. Just because it's more stat sheets we have to worry about, and more stuff we would have to see if we have to convert and that kind of stuff for FFT20. Though I will say, I'm surprised with the amount of demons. I'm surprised none of my players chose the Doomslayer Gunbreaker archetype, which is, yeah, it's just Doom guys, but it is entirely focused on killing demons. Yeah, but yeah, we're getting back into that though this week. We talked about it on the recordings, but we do stream that every 2 weeks. But like I said, we took a little bit of a hiatus just because of the mass combat rules thing, and also I have the concert this weekend. So most of the classes for our campaign, there are a couple people doing multi-classes, but primarily we've been discussing them as like what their primary is. So Floof is primarily a sage, which in FFD20 terms is a white mage archetype. Angel and Wisteria, I actually forget what classes they are. Eloise is a red mage, specifically the Ruby Archer archetype. And Frederick is a Redeemed Knight. There was a lot of discussion on how to build Frederick. Like, I said it before, I believe, and I'll say it again. Frederick was done on a whim on my part. You're right, I'm dumb. He took a white mage archetype, I think, for something else. But no, you're right, it's Astro. Here's the thing, I have ran 2 games of FFD20. I have never played. I think I have links disabled, mostly because we had a rampant string of bots for a bit. And I'd have to turn it back on. But no, I do know that, you're right, it is, an Astro archetype. I'm just dumb, like I said. Yeah, we've been discussing a lot about like what to do with Frederick though narratively going forward. There are some goals and some jokes we've had behind the scenes about what to do with Frederick. But ultimately what happens to that character is completely up to my players. I'm just giving them the elements for like what direction they want to take them. I'm having my players come to me. This is just how I'm DMing it. I've had my players. I tell them like they need something to come to me and tell me, and I'll work around what they need. I'm trying to think here what else we got going on. I also know, like in terms of like the overall stream plan for this week, I'm doing it's today is gonna be, well, today's obviously Metaphor. Thursday is gonna be one of my all day stream, because like there are 2 days a week I stream all day pretty much. For a while it was Monday and Thursday, now it's gonna be Thursday and Friday. One of those 2 days will be another Metaphor stream. The other one will be Final Fantasy V. I was streaming Star Force, but the main thing that is holding me up with progress in Star Force 3 is I beat the game. Now I just gotta collect the rest of the cards. In particular, it's the mega cards I'm missing because 2 of them are in really annoying spots. And I just cannot get them to drop. To give you that, I've been taking like 2 hours every night before I go to bed to try to farm for these fucking cards. And I've been doing it since, I'd like to say last Wednesday, and I've been having horrendous luck. The enemies I need just have not fucking spawned. Okay, let's see here. 141. Yeah, I think this will be the last rotation I have going through and recharge my MP. Again, I love that this exists. Doesn't take a little bit, yes, but it's so fucking worth it if you're trying to one-day dungeon. Magician is like one of the most important archetypes in this game just for this. It's an interesting game. It's from the same company and playstyle as Shin Megami Tensei, or more notably, well, more people will know, Persona. This game kind of plays a little bit of a mix between the 2 gameplay styles. You have the archetypes, which are basically personas, and then you have the calendar and day system. Rotation system similar to Persona, but the combat is what's called the press turn system, which is from Shin Megami Tensei. Did I say system enough times in that string of words? Persona's not bad, honestly. My first Atlas game I ever played was Persona 4, though I have more of an affinity, not an affinity, but I kind of lean a little bit more towards Shin Megami Tensei over Persona, just because of the fact I like the press turn system. I like the press turn system a lot more than knocking down enemies. And though I will say this, I know Persona has it to an extent, but holy fuck, physical builds in Shin Megami Tensei are so fucking busted. For context, I believe it's actually canon that this character has this build. The Demi-Fiend, the main character of Shin Megami Tensei 3, is canonically a physical build, because that motherfucker throws hands and kills demons. I love him. He's great. The only thing that's really rough about Metaphor, and I would say it's even rougher in Metaphor than it is in, say, Persona. Because in Persona, you could get the wild card of the game, whether it be Joker or whatever your character is. You could get them a Persona usually that has a couple debuffs or buffs early on. You just gotta do a couple fusions. Not the case in Metaphor, which is really rough because it's a Megaton game, and buffing and debuffing enemies is very important. Or buffing yourself and debuffing enemies. The Menace. So, to explain very quick, because you've said you haven't seen much of this game, or, unlike Persona, where your level determines what personas you can fuse. And in theory, if you wanted to, you could just grind in the first dungeon and be able to fuse most personas. That is not the case in Metaphor. To unlock an archetype, which is the Persona equivalent, you need to meet the character. So Yeah, so using the archetype here for Magician, as you can see, has a bunch of different stuff for, like, basically the 3 basic elemental spells. Or at least 3 of the basic elements. It covers, fire, ice, and electric. But it doesn't cover wind, dark, or, holy. This is Seeker. You have to meet not the Arcana wielder, per se. It's essentially, think Persona. You have to meet the Confidant, the Social Link, for the different bonds. And they are all related. Every character is related to one archetype. So, as you can see, so the Mage Tree is related to the little fairy character who's been floating around me. Seeker is the Izanagi, the Arsene, the Orpheus. It's your basic. It is the Fool Arcana. The thing is, this is the only one who gets Wind Element for now, and yeah, if you want Terrakuja, this is the only buff I've had so far. Then we've got Healer, which Healer, if you put in the work, gets Dikunda, which is really good, to be honest. The fact that Dikunda is here so early in the game. Then we have a Brawler, which Brawler has Battle Cry, which is really nice. But it takes rank 14. You have to put in a decent amount of work into Brawler for it. There is no buff or debuffs in Warrior, and I believe Knight is just aggro draw. Aggro draw and a basic heal spell, which honestly you get better from Healer and Seeker. The nice thing, though, is you do have what's called the skill inheritance system. So I could go on to... Actually, I have it on Mage right now. I have Hama, which I... Basically, any skill you learn from any archetype, you can spend Mag, which is a special currency for archetypes, and make a skill able to be used on any archetype. It's character-specific, but it's still useful. Also, any character can run any archetype. Yeah, so, though in terms of the bonds we currently have, Galicia is my mage. She's the little fairy floating around me. Seeker is through... Yeah, it is very useful. You just gotta make sure you put in the work in the right classes. So it's a good idea to bounce characters around. Seeker is connected to Moore, who, to compare Moore, he's Igor. He's the one who kind of explains the archetypes to us, the protagonist. Maria is a young girl we met, but to give you an idea, I cannot work on her bond until after the first dungeon. I'm just happy they gave me this archetype now, because the first dungeon is a necromancer, so there's a lot of undead, so having Hama is great. You can't work on Brawler for a while, because you meet Katharina, but I don't believe her bond can be advanced until you get further in the game. Warrior is through Stull, and Knight is through Hulkenberg. That's their starting ones. But yeah, there's some complexity in the build system that's different compared to Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, because there's no fusions. It's just bounce classes around and everyone learn everything. I'd say the first dungeon is probably the hardest, though, just because of lack of buff and debuff. Yes, actually. Like, unironically, yes. Because you want everyone to learn the skills so you could bounce them around. You get skill inherit. For example, Battle Cry. Battle Cry boosting your attack defense is just useful because in all Megaton games, whether it be Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, or Metaphor, attack effects both magic and physical. Same with defense. There's no magic defense stat and physical defense stat. They are the same. And for the aforementioned issue of buff spells being uncommon here in this point in the game, yeah, it's kind of a good idea to get it. The other nice thing is if you overlevel, I like about Metaphor is if you overlevel an enemy enough, you could just kill them on the field, like I was doing those wolves on the first floor. And depending on your archetype, you get different bonuses for doing it. Since I have most of the archetypes on myself, except for Warrior and Knight. Like, Seeker has what's called Chase Support, makes support attacks from your comrades happen more easily in the overworld. So, when I attack an enemy, there's a very high chance of a follow-up from my allies. Versus Mage. Mage has magic recovery. In overworld combat, recovers NP each time an enemy is stunned or defeated. That's what I was taking advantage of. Brawlers is strong enemies are stunned more easily in the overworld, which is pretty useful, actually. This one sounds good until you realize what the fuck is happening. So Healer, on paper, it's every time you attack an enemy, you fight an enemy in the overworld, you heal. Except it's not. It's support attacks. So it's not from you, it's from your allies. And I don't believe it triggers at all if your allies are the users. So like if you make one of them a healer. Also, look at how beautiful it is. By the way, yeah, so those, no, it's human! Unironically, those things are called humans. This is the boss store, so I'm actually... I forgot. I forgot that the boss was this close, so I'm actually gonna go back to the first floor, because... Slight spoiler, but also highly recommend this. You're in for a double phase boss fight, so go in with full HP and full magic. You're going to need the resources. This game's first boss is a bit brutal. Or first real boss. I'm not counting prologue bosses. So everyone in my party is a different race. If I remember correctly, I believe my character's race is Emma? I like to say. So the tribes are... Stoll here is a Clemar, which you can kind of see on his model. He's got horns. There's the Rosante tribe, which is the elves. But their ears are so... Yeah, the ears are so pointy. It reminds me of Jack and Daxter. There are the... Yugif tribe, which I don't have an example here. There is the Nidia tribe, which look human, but the unique thing is their hair color and the fact that their eyes look like jewels. There is the Harpus tribe, which are they're basically beast folk. There's the Ishika or Ishkia tribe. I'm probably pronouncing a couple of these. But the Ishikiya kind of are kind of like the high-end Tia from Xenoblade. The only difference is instead of having wings on their head, it's around their waists. There's the Rahag tribe, which look human except for the marks on their face. The Mustaria tribe, which almost always wear masks. And then there's the Elda. The Elda tribe is the protagonists. There aren't too many examples of what Elda look like. I joke that Metaphor ReFantazio is a dream of the Persona 3 protagonist. Just because the protagonist here is a dead ringer for the Persona 3 protagonist. So, the thing is with Frederick is, as I said, Frederick was done as a whim. I saw an opportunity for a joke when they opened the door. So it's because I wanted to play a lot of the Doomtrade cultists as, similar to the cultists of Baphomet in the Wrath of the Righteous CRPG, which is, a lot of them don't know the actual, like, the actual worship beliefs of Baphomet because of the fact it's so it's radically different depending on who you ask. Yeah, and then they just roll for intimidation, like, he is our friend now, and I'm like, okay. My other favorite bit I had organizing was after PK convinced the cultists to bomb the tower, like leave the bombs at the tower. And I'm like, okay, not the tower, the Great Garrison. I'm like, I can work with this. I did go a little, I did lay a bunch of traps with them, and I'm like, you know what, let's have some fun, blow up a couple cultists. I've been having a lot of funs with, yes, you're chaotic now. Yeah, no, here's the thing. That was not me doing that on a whim. Like, in terms of making him chaotic. He has been asking me to give him opportunities to shift his alignment to chaotic. For, the crystal path he wants, which is Trickster. Okay, everyone else is fully recharged on MP, it's just me now. Yeah, no, it was his way to, he needed to go more chaotic. So, his character was in my other campaign I ran, which is the Dragon Hunt, which, not as solid of a campaign, mostly just because of the fact, if I'm going to be honest, the module we used for it, it's not that good compared to the Wrath campaign. The Wrath campaign's module gives me so much more to work with. But, his character was a lot more stable. The main thing with the chaotic tendencies, they've started in this campaign in particular. The other, the Dragon Hunt's actually where the character of Valk comes from. That's why Lich voices Valk, because Valk was his character from the Dragon Hunt campaign. Though, fun little behind the scenes of a cut idea that I had as I was toying around with Lich, but we ultimately decided not to do it, was we were going to have Valk go into the, me and him were talking about having Valk go into the Great Garrison just to cast Xenoflare. But ultimately we decided against it just because if we had him cast Xenoflare, we kind of agreed it was going to kill Valk, and we were just like, nah, we like the fine little Goblin Man. We'll use it for, we might use it for something else later. But it was still an idea we toyed around with. I'm just clearing out the wolves, even though I don't need the MP anymore. I'm just doing it for the stats. Yeah, well, there have only been in Final Fantasy adjacent proper Final Fantasy style games. There's only been 2 casters of Zetaflare. Bahamut in Final Fantasy 16 and Donald Duck in Kingdom Hearts 3, which is still kind of wild, making him one of the strongest casters, but it does kill him. The other one is Bravely Default, and that one has a bit more story and lore behind the Zetaflare as compared to Final Fantasy 16 and Kingdom Hearts 3. Wait, what? Are you talking about Donald Duck casting Zetaflare? Yeah, Donald Duck cast fucking Zetaflare. The end game for Kingdom Hearts 3 has some wild spells. Donald randomly pulls out Zetaflare, and Mickey just in front of Xehanort's face just goes Ultima. The only reason Xehanort survived was he cast Stopza. And oh, Bravely Default. Yes, I believe there is a I've actually never played the original Bravely Default, but I believe there is a character in that game who casts Zetaflare. Or at least I have been informed that there's a character in that game who casts Zetaflare. But Zetaflare in that game destroys dimensions. Hey, you did? Never finished it? I have played Bravely Default 2, which, honestly, I enjoyed Bravely Default 2. I had fun mostly just because I liked the cast. I thought they were a lot of fun. Hold on a second. Okay, my little dog, my little pupper. Be free. I know you don't. You decided you want to go out. Sorry about that. Okay, let's continue on. I have played a lot of JRPGs. I haven't finished them all. But in terms of the ones we've streamed that I have finished Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Shin Megami Tensei 5 Nocturne. Not Nocturne, Vengeance. I have finished Digimon Time Stranger. I'm trying to actually focus more on like traditional JRPGs here, so I won't include like Strangers of Paradise. No, well, yes and no. So I believe there is a character in that game who has it. Let me double check that. Yes. One of the bosses in Bravely Default has access to Zetaflare. Specifically the final boss. But this is also because like I said, in that game, Zetaflare has more lore. Because as I said, Zetaflare in that game, from my understanding, is used to destroy dimensions. Let me see, is there anything else I can use? The reason why I went with the healer is just so I have access to, light magic and healing. Are you talking about the healing spell or Bravely Default?
神の信託を得ぬ者が王権を得ることは許されぬ。
Get fucked.
べき日まで公爵は我が元にて預かる。最も信託を得た者のみ。
おう。あくまでも最も信託を得た者にしか今は他人の権利の心配がない。もはや誰も。うい。さて、最悪の準備が整いつつある。 舐め込んだマグラが放たれたと。神はどんな顔でルイ様に助けを求めるんだろうな。
いたぞ。王爵はどこだ。
亡き王が奪っていったよ。あれは誰のものにもならんそうだ。今はまだな。分かったら消えろ。愚かさへの憐れみとして見逃してやる。
More like neutral Majora.
ルイの居場所を聞いたな。
Like we almost killed the villain of this whole game before the adventure started, but he's based. So the face of the sky is the king. He is overseeing the competition. He will not let anyone assassinate any of the front runners because that is interfering. But a front runner could kill a front runner. Just no assassination. We almost had this done, and then the king stepped in. So he's neither on our side nor against us.
当たり前だ。
なるほど。考えがわからんのも当然か。お前らの頭は空っぽなのだな。
He just kind of hangs there in the sky for now, though.
またお前か。私の何を知っているというのか。
He's a necromancer. Are you surprised?
いや、赤髪の騎士。お前、王子を守り損ねた。間抜けな近衛どもの一人か。
そういう貴様は今や死人使いか。落ちるところまで落ちた
Like a necromancer as a piece of shit.
公爵は失われたな。本当の世直しはここから。この国に本物の恐怖を教え込んでやる。
図に乗るなよゲド。
I am just sitting
貴
here.
様には牢屋が似合いだ。
真の正しさもわからぬ愚か者には。
Yeah, he's doing just.
しかないな。
I'm going to kill everyone.
お前たちもあの間抜けな暗殺者のもとへ送ってやれ。さあ死ね。そしてルイ様の大いなる波動の礎となれ。
何が波動だ。ルイの居場所を吐いてまうぞ。
多くの命をもてあそんだ報い受けてもらう。
あいつを止めないとまた被害が広がっちゃう。
So, thing of note about Zorba here. Zorba is resistant to all magic except light. And the sword I have on stall here gives him immense attack power. But the issue is, it makes all of his normal attack damage fire. So I just have to use slash.
王者の魂をここに。光よ。
Actually, am I wrong? I thought he was... Oh, no, he's resistant, but he's not weak to light. He does summon, though, and the summons are weak to, fire and light. I don't believe Zorba himself has any weaknesses.
働いてもらう。
これが死人を操る力。
残念だったな。
Get fucked!
レストロール。
受けろ。この一投。この力で。これを。ありがたい。
So for now, I'm actually... But the other thing is, I believe if you can
貴族として
keep the corpses
王者の
down,
魂をここに
he'll always spend a turn summoning.
その調子よ隊長
Moved
こ
on,
んなものか
standard attack, and
くらえ思ったよりやるな
すぐに殺してやる。
just for the extra turn.
加減はしない
あがくな。
光よ
行くぞかかってくるがいい
Knight's Proclamation.
代わりはいくらでも。
かすり傷だ
ファイター
Fuck yeah! Critical hit!
この力で輝け
Just for the... So that gets me another turn.
正義の王者の力その身に宿れ加減はしない光よ
みんな無事か
And, what do I have? Corrosive acid so I can lower his defense.
働いてもらう。
He can... Like, Zorba can really start to overwhelm you if you're not careful.
まだだ
So do keep that in mind.
恥ずかしくないキーラー立て直す
すまない
さすがだな
ジョこれが我が剣
Knight's Proclamation.
さあ踊れ。
簡単にはやられんぞ
Fuck, I forgot about
さあ
Madness.
踊れ。
手当てお願い
食らいやがれ
Okay, just get that one out of the way. Use one of the Bombs of Life I have, because
なら
Bombs of Life are like...
信念は折れん
If you've played Persona or Shin Megami Tensei, you know how valuable Bombs of Life normally are. I can buy that shit.
これし
Like, in the town, right now, I can buy Bombs of Life.
受けろこの一投輝け
相手をよくナイト
ファイター加減はしない
助かった
オンに切る
They cost like 5,000. They're not cheap, but they're there.
これしきこんなものかこれが我が剣
無駄にあがくな。
食らいやがれ
ルイ様の邪魔をする愚か者ども。すぐに
そ
殺してやる。
のために
ルイ様の邪魔をする愚か者ども。
悪は正す往生際が悪い
さあ踊れ。
キルケンベルグ
さ
の体
あ
力
踊れ。
誰か回復をキュルケンベルグの体力
王者の魂をここに
また我が正義にかけて
ルイス受けろこの一投大丈夫加減はしない癒しの力よ
すまない
さすがだな
守りを固める
ルイス様
代わりはいくらでも。
So he's gonna focus on summoning another puppet.
キルケンベルグの体力が少ない
I think I've got a good flow going now. Just get rid of the ones that are enraged, because they are the problem.
輝け
キルケンベルグ
精霊の力を
なくなってる
ルイス覚悟はいいか思ったより耐えるな大丈夫やかそうじゃない
The one thing that's gonna throw it off this time is the fact that,
これを使おう
感謝する
one of them isn't enraged, so it's not that big of a problem. The enraged ones deal more damage, so they're the ones I have to focus on getting rid of as quickly as
こ
possible.
れしき
Otherwise, it's just a little over 100 a turn, and I can work with that. and I can focus damage on Zorba. Because once Zorba's down, yeah, it's done.
こんなとこだな。よし、成長したぜ。
聖堂を荒らした上、人殺しに墓暴き。観
Yeah.
念しろ。報いを受ける時だ。
殺すのは待って。ルイの居場所を聞いて。
死んでも喋るものか。
In all honesty, yeah, just kill him.
用なしになれば、ルイはお前だってあっさり切り捨てるぞ。
ルイ様こそ我が全てだ。ブレマール族には分かるまい。なあ、そこのお前。エルダのお前になら分かるはずだ。排除されてきた俺の気持ちが。この国は異種族が嫌いなのさ。融和など建前だ。俺たちは今も蔑まれ、貧乏くじを引かされる。昔は信じてたさ。国に尽くせば報われる。だが聞いたんだ。権力者どもの本音を。
My man, you are resurrecting the fucking dead. I don't think people. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's problems like with the way that people treat the tribes, but you are a fucking necromancer. You are fucking desecrating the dead. I'm not gonna defend you.
感情が生み出すという説がある。魔法とは元来とても危険な術なのだ。限界までマグラを食べるつもりだった。もういい。おごった権力者など己の不安に飲まれてしまえ。聖教ごときにこの世は救えん。神がいるとすればルイ様ただ一人だ。
貴様、何をした？
このためにマグラを貯め続けていたのさ。
少し早まったが史上の最悪を味わうがいい。
おい、ルイの行き先はどこだ？ああ、ルイ様。くそ。
I think he's dead. Take a guess what phase 2 is.
なんだこの感じは。
人間だ。人間が動いたぞ。
人間ってまさかルイが国葬で持ってきたあのでっかいやつ？
Yep.
死体じゃなかったの？
いや、死体を暴れさせるのはゾルバの大得意だろう。
But I will say, if you, I said this before, I'll say it again. If you want to try specifically a game that has an easier version of the calendar system for Persona, Metaphor, because unlike Persona, where certain characters are only available during certain days, there's a lot more breathing room in Metaphor for everything. It says I have 9 days to do this. I don't. I have 1 day, and it's at this exact moment.
Miro.
急ぐぞ。くそ。
This is not the area I was grinding in, if I'm correct. This is actually even lower. Okay, no, they do give me a full recharge. Okay. I couldn't remember if they did or not. I'm trying to remember what the weaknesses for this boss are. Yeah, so, what I am going to do is... This enemy... Let me see, what level am I actually before I go? Oh, I'm actually at a disadvantage. It's... Oh, but you mean like on the character? Like the red glow on the body? That is just a sign of the archetypes. I'm gonna throw hands. I do not recommend, if you're saving it before every fight, create a separate save. Because if you need to go level grind, you have to go back to before you fought Zorba. Beautiful, isn't it? It's a human, don't you know? So the heart is actually this dialogue will lead you to believe, oh, use magic on the heart. The heart is actually resistant to magic. You gotta stab it. The reason I switched to Brawler was just so I had the extra physical damage. But not just the extra physical damage, so I could take advantage of its weakness to strike. Sweeping Arc will hit the entire party. Oblivion Dust didn't do anything because she was guarding. Go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with another perfect punch. Yeah! Critical hit! Stall is pretty much my my main damage dealer right now, though, because of the fact that that greatsword being just that fucking good. Frog. now it's got the shell again. Which honestly, that works then.
殻が治っちゃうみたいね。ちょっと大変そうだけど、あの腕壊せないかな。
行くぞ。
100点に命中。
みんな無事か。
この調子よ。
ライト。
正義のためにこの剣を振るう覚悟はいいか。決める。拳で語ってみせる。
状況を確
I'm
認す
trying
る。
to remember what the hands are
この
weak
守り崩せぬぞ。
to. So the hands are weak to fire. Come on!
ここで諦めるわけには。
回復が優先よ。
受けろ。この一投。
すまない。
ありがたい。
みんな無事か。行くぞ。私はここだ。
貴族として食らいやがれ。大丈夫。やれ。文句壊れろ。
100点に命中。
So yeah, I'm gonna have my brawler focus on. So yeah, the protagonist is gonna focus on the shell.
こんなかすり傷だ。
She's on defense, though I think
シュルケンベルグが暴虐状態。
shit.
技が封じられてる。
Do I have something for this? I do not. Shit. Well, in that case, dark, light, ice.
そら。
シュルケンベルグの攻撃が弱点に
正義
命中。
のためにこの剣を振るう。受けろ。この一投。恥ずかしくない戦いをする。
この調子。
これを使おう。
But I might as well use the fire fangs. Otherwise, I'm just sitting on them, and it's better than letting them go to waste.
私をそこだ。
入った。加減はしない。癒しの
Use this
力。
opportunity to heal up really quick.
オンに切る。
Because the level difference isn't
シュルケンベルグ
as bad as I made it out to be, mostly just because you just gotta do some, take your time and make sure you play your cards right.
恥ずか文句。まだ倒れるわけには。
I didn't mean to do that, but you know, if I could get everyone topped off, especially because I think it's gonna be the frogs again. I forget if their HP carries over from the last time they spawned.
またあの兵隊こうなったらいっそ私が中で暴れて任せて。私に任せて。どうよ。やってシュルケンベルグが暴虐状態。
そこだ。
技が封じられてる。
思ったよりやるな。
手加減はなしだ。これを狙っていた。落ち着いていこう。これなら
100点に命中。
私は守りを固める。
I will just have a card for it now. You fucking what? So this is the thing a lot of enemies will do in Shin Megami Tensei games, where they'll just randomly get extra turret icons. They're all flashing icons, so it's more like they're all half icons. So it's not the biggest deal, but it's still kind of rough.
悪はただ。受けろ。この一投。拳か。
騎士の力行くぞ。我が体は盾となる。
The worst one with it is honestly Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. Because one of the first enemies you fight in Nocturne is the Matador, and the Matador does this same trick. It's rough though in that because it's so early in the fucking game.
一気に攻める。
まだ耐えるか。
王者の力。この身に宿れ。
Yeah! Yeah, pretty much. It's really bad. I mean, in Shin Megami Tensei 3, it's not that bad. It's not as bad with the buff and debuff because of the fact you can get the demons. The issue is Matador is also like, I think like 10 levels above anything else in its area. With this boss, it's mostly just knowing how to exploit weaknesses and understanding the archetype system. I think that made it really easy was the fact that Stahl had that great sword that deals fire damage. I have myself set to Brawler for the physical damage. And using Hulkenberg as a knight. Having a knight in general is really good early game.
ようやくやったか。
改めて礼を言う。王都を守るために命を懸けてくれた。
守れてなんかいないだろ。王都どころか一緒だったグライアスさえもういない。
ストロール。
国葬の日の朝、マリアと約束したんだ。帰ったらみんなで夕飯を食べようって。
Yeah, but we lost a friend when this all started. The man who tried to assassinate Lewis and was stopped by the king was our friend and also supporter of the dead king. There is no easy answer.
約束なんてするんじゃなかった。
なあ、ストール、アルセスは自ら選んでこの国のために生きたんだ。彼がいなければ王子殿下は生きていない。私も君らと出会えず、真実を知らないままだった。彼だけじゃない。ここで倒れた誰一人の生涯無駄なんかじゃない。もちろん君らの働きもな。
He still feels bad because the girl he promised to, she's a child. She's young and he made that promise and now he feels guilty. It's also, she's in a coma currently. So how do you think they're gonna feel when she wakes up? It's like, where's my daddy? It's like, oh fuck! He's dead!
おかげで兵たちの仇も取れた。ルイに頼らずとも人間を倒せる者はいると希望を示すことができた。礼を言わせてくれ。
俺たちの知らないところで見ていてくれた人たちがいたんだな。希望か。久しぶりに聞いたな。
Stroll, for context, so in terms of his character, he comes from a fallen noble house, and they were incredible. They were broke and always needing loans because of the fact they were basically giving all their money to the people to help the people and everything like that. They were attacked by a human, and when they called for aid, the royal guard did, well, not the royal guard, but the guard did nothing. And like as a kid, he couldn't understand why his parents, as nobles, were doing all this, and now he came to the conclusion of his parents' goal was a noble's duty is to the people, not to themselves. Hulkenberg, as they've mentioned a few times, is a royal knight. In particular, she guarded the prince. The prince, there was an attempted assassination, is currently on death's door. The only way they know to stop this is to kill the caster of the spell putting the prince on death's door, which is Louis. The issue is Louis is, or Louis or Louis, either way, he is beloved by the people, and he's also a prodigy swordsman and caster, as well as a tactician. He's an amazing. So he's basically the, on paper at first glance, the ideal leader. He's a master tactician, he's a master swordsman. In reality, he's a dick.
そうだな。
And then there's us. Okay, well, the two main candidates in the lead right now to be king are Louis, who is the favored by the people. Yeah. There's Louis, who's the favorite of the people. There is the equivalent of the Pope. He's also highly favored. And then there's some random third guy, but we don't know anything else. The third guy, I don't even believe his name. And yeah, that giant face of the sky is linked to all the people, so any thought, like, whoever they all think should be leader, it will show on that face. It only shows the top 3, but still. Yeah, so the equivalent of the Pope is in the lead. Yeah, Louis is, yeah, he's right behind him. Yeah, the crier is right. There's a lot more pieces in play here. So by the way, Pyrus, thank you for also watching the FFT20 Wrath playthrough. Oh, not playthrough, campaign. It does mean a lot to have a regular viewer watching it all. I do try to interact with my viewers. I don't have like the most consistent viewer base, mostly as also I'm not the most consistent streamer in terms of my days. That's also because I'm doing a lot of other stuff. Like when I'm not streaming, I'm either prepping something, practicing something, or currently working on the campaign. I also have a bunch of other stuff I have going on in the background for planning. One example is in the background, I am playing with a couple of people I've streamed with before on doing like a small like Dawn of War exhibition. It's gonna be like a 4-man tournament essentially. Also to celebrate the release of Dawn of War 4 in September, which I will be playing. Also, yeah, so they do a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, I'm a variety streamer. The only thing I really don't do is just chatting streams. The closest I've ever done to it is in Final Fantasy XIV, where I'll just hang out in game and I'll just, talk. But even then, I'm usually also doing that between dungeon runs.
それにしても街騒がしいね。人間を倒したせいかと思ったらそれだけじゃないみたい。
どうやら国王候補が乱立してるらしいな。
I will say, because of the fact I'm getting the feel for playing, because I do 2 types of streams, like for how I upload to the channel, which I'm sure I'm hoping you kind of noticed, but we have our weekly playthrough, which is, I do 5 videos a week, which is, what I used to do was they were mission-based games, like Super Robot Wars, Farm Mission, StarCraft, Dawn of War. But I've recently started with Metaphor here is the one I'm using to test out RPGs on it. Since I'm getting a feel for it, I think it's working. I'm going to, when it comes out, be putting Persona 4 Revival there. So that's the thing in February. Other projects I've got going on in the works are, as I mentioned, the aforementioned Dawn of War 4. One thing I'm planning to start soonish is a Kamen Rider game, but that's also just because I want an excuse to talk about Kamen Rider. I'm not gonna lie. A smart man.
あのような天変地異、王の魔法以外には考えられない。それよりも ルイが狙われた時、謎の魔法が守ったように見えました。あれも王のしたことでしょうか。
例の怪樹高に長けた娘に調べさせたはずで。あよを呼んでまいれ。
はじめまして。シグナス本家より曲がり越しました。レラ・メランコリフ・シグナスと申します。
You might get I cast Holy Smite!
ルイ様が謎の魔法で守られた件ですが、同じ状況が他の場所でも何度か起きたようです。おそらく民から信託を得ている者が
Yes, but you
力
can
で
only
排
be
除
crowned
さ
king
れ
if you
る
have
こ
to
とを
trust the
防
people.
いでいるのではないかと。一定数の民から支持を得た者は殺せなくなる。つまり王の魔法の一部と思われます。
なら、ルイはもう殺せないということか。
Yeah, this king was smart. He saw the daggers and the shadows that were trying to kill him.
ですが、王は本当に無数の揉め事を一つ一つ見ているんでしょうか。
発動に条件があるのかは何とも。王のさじ加減かもしれないので検証しようもなく、ただ発動しない条件ならば一つ分かったことがあります。
Oh.
決闘として戦う場合です。
殺させないんじゃなく、
They can be killed but not murdered.
青臭い無双家の王が考えそうなことです。
So, say we were running. Say I challenged you to a duel for your position. That is completely legal. The king would not interfere. But if I tried to stab you in the back, the king would interfere.
実際、そういう連中は見た目も動物ですからな。強き王を望むならば力を披露するしかあるまい。我らなりに文化的で花の
In all honesty, the two factions here, like two main factions here in terms of the running, do remind me of the law and chaos routes of Shin Megami Tensei. For context for you, in SMT traditionally there is usually two routes as the main focus. Law, which is usually aligned with the angels, and it's all about like, no, you follow the plan, you cannot stray, blah blah blah. It's very constrictive, but it's stable. Chaos is, there's freedom, you can do whatever you want, but it's pure chaos. Everything can go bad. So it's unrestrained freedom. And then there's neutral, which is the mix of the two. I'd say Louis is, yeah, it is Louis, is, because I think his name is French. But either way, he is chaos. He's basically just throwing everything into chaos, ruling by fear and everything like that. And having everyone rely on his, power behind his strength. Versus the old fucks, they are law, where it's like, they must listen to us, we know what to do, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so followers echoes, this is like stuff I could do today.